Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 4th of November 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover a mapping topic and then we are going to cover the articles from the newspaper. And before we start the discussion, let us quickly have a look on the list of articles that we are going to take for discussion. So these are those articles that we will discuss in today's newspaper analysis session. The articles along with the relevance and their page number is mentioned here. So let us talk about the first topic, which is a mapping topic. The name of the topic is Gulf of Mannar. Okay, we are going to discuss about the region Gulf of Mannar. So this Gulf of Mannar remains in news for one or other region because of, let's say, its proximity to Sri Lanka. So when we talk about Gulf of Mannar, this is the location of Gulf of Mannar. So the place that I am highlighting, right, using red color. So this region is Gulf of Mannar region. So Gulf of Mannar region is a kind of like territory which is like water, and it is surrounded by land masses from the Sri Lankan side, from the Indian side also, and there is a bridge also over here. So this is a natural kind of bridge, but like this is not totally continuous. This is known as Ram Setu. Okay, so its name is Ram Setu. So this Gulf of Mannar was in news today also, recently the finance minister of India has, went to Sri Lanka. She has discussed with the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka or the President of Sri Lanka, the head of the Sri Lankan government. So after interacting with him, she has talked about, many Buddhist, sites where Indian government is promoting the Buddhist ties in both the countries. So this Gulf of Mannar is an important thing. So why it is important? Because over here we find a very important species. This species is known as dugong. Okay, we find species which is known as dugong. Dugong is also known as what? Sea cow. Okay, it is known as sea cow. So this is a species which remains on water and it receives some kind of protection also. So it is part of some protection measure of the government of India. Apart from Gulf of Mannar, there is a, it is known as Palk Strait. Palk Strait. So Palk Strait is a narrow channel of water that connects two water bodies. So to the south of it, we have Gulf of Mannar. To the north of it, we have Bay of Bengal. What? We have Bay of Bengal. So this region is known as Palk Strait. This region is known as Palk Strait. It is narrow channel of water that connects two water bodies. Simply, it connects Gulf of Mannar with the Bay of Bengal, or we can say it connects, Arabian Sea with Bay of Bengal. That way also we can connect. So this Gulf of Mannar is a very important region. Along with this, there are many other places also. You might have heard about this town or city which is known as Rameshwaram. This is associated with life of the late president of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, right? It is associated with his lifetime also. And we have a parkway. This is parkway, Palk Strait. Okay, so these are the things. So having understood the mapping topic, let us quickly understand the first topic of the day. See, Gulf is something which is surrounded by, right? So Gulf is something which is surrounded by land mass from three sides and water by one side. That's the thing. So that is known as Gulf. And opposite of Gulf is peninsula, which is surrounded by water from three sides and land mass by one side. In this case, it is vice versa. Okay, so this is the thing. Right, this southern portion of India. So this portion of India would be called as peninsular India. This is peninsular India, like that. So with this, let us now understand this topic, which says this is related to Women's Reservation Bill. So as we all know that the Parliament of India in its special session on the very first day when they assembled in the new Parliament building, they have passed a bill which is known as Women's Reservation Bill. And related to Women's Reservation Bill, people have reached the Supreme Court of India. They wanted it to be implemented as soon as possible. So we are going to discuss about this topic in detail, but before that, let us have an understanding about what is Women's Reservation Bill. Okay, so we will have a quick understanding of this topic, which is known as Women's Reservation Bill. So name of the topic is difficult to press for women's quota. Difficult to press for women's quota before Lok Sabha polls, Supreme Court. Before Lok Sabha polls set by the Supreme Court of India. So let's understand about this topic. So recently the Supreme Court of India has passed, the Parliament of India has passed a bill. Parliament of India has passed a bill. This is known as 106th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2023. So they have passed 106th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this is also known as Women's Reservation Act. Okay, this is known as Women's Reservation Act of 2023. So this is known as Women's Reservation Act. So as part of this act, what they want to do, like they want to give 33% reservation, right? 33% reservation to women. Where? In seats of Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, right? In state legislative assemblies. So there are many states in India. In all those states, in the state legislative assembly, the government have promised that 33% reservation will be given to women. So this also includes Delhi. Okay, this also includes Delhi, but does not include Puducherry as of now. Okay, so this is the thing. The Women's Reservation Bill that they have passed, this Women's Reservation Act, they have included the women from SCs and STs, okay, but they have excluded OBCs. Okay, they have excluded OBCs. So this is also an important contention related to this bill. But the thing is, like, you know, this bill has been passed. There was a unanimous, let's say, approval from across the party lines in passing this particular bill. I mean, like the ruling party, the opposition party, and other parties. So, like, you know, all of them, almost all of them have supported it, barring few people, right? So that's the thing. So if we talk about this particular bill that has been passed, over here there are many clauses that are attached. Means they want to implement this bill after the next census. Okay, after the next census. What do we mean by census? Census is an exercise of counting the population in the country. So in India, we conduct census every 10 years. So the thing is, last census that was conducted, it was conducted in 2011. After then, it had to be conducted in 2021. But in 2021 also, the India or like, you know, rest of the countries in the world were, let's say, facing the COVID-19 pandemic. So COVID-19 pandemic has struck India in 2020, but it did have effect throughout 2020 and most part of 2021 also. So the census exercise could not be conducted in India and it has been delayed. It is possible that this census may be conducted in the mid of, let's say, like, you know, 2020s. I mean, like, you know, maybe after this particular Lok Sabha election, maybe in 2024 or 25, it may be conducted. If they do not conduct it, so they will be conducting the next census in 2031. So next census may be conducted in 2031. And so this is one of the clause. This is one of the clause that they have put, right? One of the conditionality associated with this bill. What is the second conditionality? After conducting the census, they want to conduct a delimitation exercise. Okay, they want to conduct a delimitation exercise. And after the delimitation exercise, they want to implement this particular bill, right? They want to implement after that. But if we talk about what do we mean by delimitation? What do we mean by delimitation? Who conducts delimitation? So delimitation exercise means drawing the boundaries. Okay, it means drawing the boundaries of constituencies, okay, drawing the boundaries of constituencies of like, you know, for the Lok Sabha election. So for the Lok Sabha elections, right, and also for the state legislative assembly elections. And this exercise is done by the Election Commission of India, right? It is done by Election Commission of India. So for that purpose, the President of India sets up a delimitation like commission. A delimitation commission is set up. Delimitation commission is set up. And this delimitation commission is a very high level body. It is a high level body. And so they have quasi-judicial, right? They have quasi-judicial authority. Means whatever decision this delimitation commission takes related to drawing or redrawing the boundaries of constituencies, like, you know, for state legislative assembly elections or Lok Sabha elections, these boundaries cannot be altered. It cannot be challenged even in a court of law, like that. So this commission, delimitation commission, is a high level body. So in that case, but what has happened, as we know that, like, you know, these are the conditionalities that are associated with this bill that has been passed. There are many people who have approached the court of law, okay? So they have approached court of law. So in this case, the Supreme Court of India, okay? Supreme Court of India, people have reached the Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court of India has observed that, like, you know, it cannot press the government to implement it before the Lok Sabha election. Why it cannot press? Because Supreme Court of India says that it will amount to virtually legislation, okay? Virtual legislation. It will amount to virtual legislation by the court, okay? Virtual legislation by the Supreme Court. Virtual legislation means, as we know, like, you know, in India, Indian polity is divided into, like, you know, there are different like organs of the government. So like one of the organ is, let's say, like, you know, the Parliament of India. Parliament of India means, like, in the Parliament of India, we do have this legislature also, executives also. So they have like both the functions, okay? So we can say that we have legislature, we have executive, and we have judiciary. So in the Constitution of India, both the like all the three are find its mentions. Apart from this, there is fourth pillar of democracy also, which is known as, like, you know, press or media, right? Press, or we can say media. So the thing is, if we talk about press or media, press largely functions privately in India, and there are, let's say, press outlets of government of India also, the Press Information Bureau and Rajya Sabha TV, many other channels also of the government of India. So if we talk about legislature, functioning of the legislature is to make laws. So this law that has been passed, this law that has been made, it has been made by the legislature. So legislature, the domain of making law is with the legislature. The executive has the function of implementing those laws that are made by the legislature. And role of the judiciary is to, let's say, adjudicate whenever there are disputes arises. So judiciary plays the role over there. And judiciary means the Supreme Court of India is, let's say, like interpreter of the Constitution of India as well, right? So they have different domains, and the thing is, like, you know, there is a separation of power between them. So there are checks and balances in their power. So that's why judiciary has said that, like, you know, if we press the government in implementing it now, so it will amount to virtual legislation by the Supreme Court of India. Like, you know, legislation is a part of the legislature, so it should be done by the legislature itself. So that's why Supreme Court of India has, let's say, like, denied taking a decision in this regard as of now. So they have reserved their thing, okay, they have reserved their decision in this case. So having understood this, let us now understand about another topic. This topic is also equally important. It says the IITs are overcommitted in crisis. Now we need to understand, this article has been written by a professor who is, let's say, like, with some other institute, which is Boston College in United States of America. So this has been written by a foreign professor, right? Foreign professor, and he has talked about the Indian Institute of Technology. So as we know, so we will discuss about this Indian Institute of Technology in detail. Let's understand about this topic. Name of the topic is, so it says, the IITs are overcommitted in crisis. The IITs are overcommitted, in crisis. So let's understand, when we talk about IITs, we know IITs means Indian Institutes of Technology. And the first IIT that was implemented in India, it was implemented in 1950 at it was IIT Kharagpur. It was IIT Kharagpur. It was in the West Bengal, okay, in the state of West Bengal. So this was the first IIT that was established, and within a decade, within a decade means within 10 years, they have established 5 more IITs, right? 5 more IITs in India. So these 6 IITs together are known as old IITs, okay, old IITs. But recently what the government of India has done, government of India increased the number of IITs. In 2015, they have, started implementing few more IITs. Initially, they have implemented 7 more IITs. Presently, how many IITs do we have? We have 23 IITs in India. 23 IITs in India. And if we talk about these Indian Institutes of Technology, these Indian Institute of Technologies are highly known. I mean, they are largely known outside India. Means if people from outside India know about any educational institutes in India, they know about IITs. They may not be knowing about other institutes, but largely they know that there exist IITs. And some of the people, graduates from IITs, postgraduates from IITs, they have, reached up to, very high level, top level, post in many other countries in their tech firms and all. So that has also increased the reputation of IITs. So IITs have maintained a kind of standard. They have maintained quality since the beginning, since 1950s onwards. So they have maintained standard and quality. But the new IITs that have been set up, mostly these new IITs are set up in remote areas in the country. And these IITs are, there are many posts of professors, assistant professors and all. So this post of professors and assistant professors, right, assistant professors that are vacant in many of these IITs, okay. And many of these IITs do not have proper infrastructure as well, and they face funding problems as well, okay. Means they have many posts of professors and assistant professors vacant, and in this article they have mentioned that professors and assistant professors are the heart of the IITs. Means if we have faculties in the IITs who are, well educated, who are, competitive, so they become the heart of the IITs, and the top IITs are the old IITs. So if there are new students who want to join IITs, so generally they prefer joining old IITs, not the new IITs. And even if a person is aspiring to become an assistant professor or a professor, that person also has preference of going to old IITs rather than new IITs. That's the thing. Why? Because new IITs have been recently set up. Maybe their campuses are still in the building mode, and also some of the IITs have been created by transforming previously institutes that were previously in existence. For example, Indian Institutes of Mine, Dhanbad. So it has been converted into an IIT. So that has been mentioned by the professor over here. But IITs are not doing only this. Recently, one of the IIT Madras, in this article they have mentioned about an IIT Madras. It has set up its campus in Zanzibar, right? In Zanzibar, I think it is in Tanzania. So they have mentioned the name of the country also, right? So they have set up an IIT in Zanzibar, and there they have, let's say, like, like they have taken 70 people have, let's say, like, 70 students have got their like admissions in this particular IIT. Another IIT, which is IIT Delhi, it has set up its campus in Abu Dhabi, right? It has set up its campus in Abu Dhabi. The author over here is criticizing the move of these IITs. The author says that these IITs, like, what is the purpose that they have set up their center abroad India? So is it the case that they want to generate money from here and, like, fund the, like, homegrown IIT? Or is it the case that India wants to improve its soft diplomacy, soft power? Okay. So is it the case that India is, let's say, like, working towards increasing its soft power? Okay. So the author says, like, are these moves for soft power or for generation of money? So this is the thing. So author says, like, government of India should focus more on improving the standard of the new IITs that they have set up, rather than going for abroad. So this is, like, author is saying. So it says the IIT system is in serious trouble at the time that some of the IITs are building campuses abroad as part of India's soft power efforts. Okay, means some IITs are facing problem in home, but at the same time India is building IITs abroad as well. Okay, so this is the thing. I mean, like, this is related to higher educational institutes. As we all know that, like, those professors who are working in India, right, they are professors of IIT, so most of them prefer to stay in IIT. If they are given an option to go to some other country, so they would like to go to a country which is more developed than India, because they want a better living standard. So these people don't, like, some of the professors may not prefer to go to some African countries where the temperature is very high, the climate is harsh. I mean, like, they do have their own preferences and as well. Even if they go, they will stay there for a very short period of time and they will come back, like that. So author is, let's say, like, little bit skeptical about the quality that the IITs may be able to maintain in like, their offshore campuses. But the thing is, like, if these IITs have done in India, so if they have done well in India, they will be able to do well abroad as well. IIT Delhi, for example, like, it has a very good campus here. IIT Madras, it has a very good campus. They have huge number of professors and students. They do have the expertise, capacity of, let's say, like, catering to the needs of the candidates, right, of the students. So even if they set up a center outside, they will be able to, let's say, like, utilize this expertise to make those campuses also flourishing, to make those campuses good, so that students who graduate from there, they become employable, and these students are, let's say, like, tech savvy for the, let's say, real world outside. So this is what is mentioned in this article. With this, we will look into another topic. This topic is also equally important. It says India will work with Sri Lanka on its debt treatment, Nirmala Sitharaman. So basically, the Finance Minister of India has visited Sri Lanka on 1st of November. She is on a 3-day visit to Sri Lanka. And as we know that India and Sri Lanka share deep ties with one another. We do have cultural ties, we do have civilizational ties also. So if we go to ancient India, right, ancient history, during the time of the king Ashoka, so Ashoka has sent his daughter Sangamitra and his son also, right, to Sri Lanka. Why? To plant the sapling of the first generation Bodhi tree in Sri Lanka. So they have planted the first generation Bodhi tree sapling in Sri Lanka in Anuradhapuram. There is a place in Sri Lanka, it is known as Anuradhapuram. So they have planted, and that particular Bodhi tree, right, so is still surviving. I mean, like, many of its thing has also grown. So that tree is surviving. And Buddhism, I mean, like, Buddhism has spread from Indian subcontinent to many other countries. I mean, like, in China also people have adopted Buddhism. In Sri Lanka, largely, let's say, largely people follow Buddhism, right? And in many other countries, Buddhism is being followed. So, like, India does have a, let's say, stake over there in Sri Lanka, that we want to deepen our Buddhist ties in Sri Lanka. Means, like, we want to, like, we have created Buddhist circles in India to promote tourism related to Buddhism, and we also want to help or assist Sri Lanka so that they can also promote Buddhism in their own country, right? So we are assisting them in that regard. So Miss Sitaraman, the Finance Minister of India, she has visited there. She has talked about like India's civilizational ties with Sri Lanka. She has talked about that how government of India is going to help, like, you know, support funding Sri Lanka. She has also mentioned about the efforts that India has, let's say, put forward when Sri Lanka was facing financial crisis. Last year itself, like, you know, Sri Lanka was going through one of its severe financial crisis. So it was in need of fund from abroad, right? So India was one of the first country who has, let's say, reached out to Sri Lanka to extend its help. Later on, they have also applied to the International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund has, let's say, like, you know, given support to Sri Lanka, but the support that the International Monetary Fund gives, they also put some kind of conditionalities on the countries, right? Conditionalities means like we are going to support you financially, but you need to bring these changes in your economic, let's say, structure. So India has also faced financial problem in 1991. As we know, in 1991, we faced, let's say, balance of payment crisis. So that was a time when like India did not have sufficient money in our forex reserve. And at that point of time, we have reached out to these Bretton Woods institutions, and International Monetary Fund has supported India along with putting some kind of conditionalities on India. So they asked India to go for liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms. So these were known as LPG reforms. And India has successfully implemented those reforms in Indian economy. And the thing is, like, we were able to come over or overcome the financial crisis at that point of time. Now is the time when Sri Lanka is facing similar crisis. So Sri Lanka has been assisted by India. It has been assisted by China. It has been assisted by Japan also. So International Monetary Fund has already released, it has already given its first tranche of financial support. But for the second tranche of financial support, the International Monetary Fund has put some conditionalities that, like, you know, the Sri Lanka should work with those countries who have given fund to Sri Lanka. I mean, like those countries like India, China, Japan, or any other country. So they need to talk with these countries about debt treatment plan. I mean, like, you know, how the debt will be treated, means like how the repayment option will be done, because International Monetary Fund is supporting. So whether the entire money will go in like servicing the debt that Sri Lanka has taken from other countries. So International Monetary Fund has said to Sri Lanka that first you come up with detailed report about how you are going to treat those debt that you have already taken from other countries, right? Only then we are going to release this second tranche of, let's say, like, you know, money to you. That's the thing. So Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has said that, like, we are supporting Sri Lanka, and along with us many other countries who have supported, so they should keep their support with Sri Lanka. So far, like, India has extended about $4 billion, right? $4 billion of Indian assistance to Sri Lanka. So it was said by the Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, right? So this is the thing. So it is known as International Monetary Fund's Extended Fund Facility, okay? EFF. IMF's International Monetary Fund's Extended Fund Facility. So, like, you know, so initially they have supported, they are going to support again, but before that they wanted a clarity how the previous debt will be treated for other countries, so that, like, you know, they are sure that their entire money does not go in servicing the debt. So this is a good topic. I would say this is related to Indian economy. It's also associated with international relations. We are talking about India-Sri Lanka ties. It's part of bilateral relations between India and Sri Lanka, right? India and its neighborhood. So in this article, they have also mentioned about economic technology cooperation agreement between the two countries, okay? So like it is India and Sri Lanka that took place from October 30 to November 1 in Colombo. That's the thing. So this is a very good article. This article showcases India's commitment towards helping, right, its neighborhood countries like Sri Lanka. So along with this, we have a question on this topic. It says, consider these statements, or consider the following statements. They have given two statements. Sri Lanka is located just off the southern coast of India, separated by Park Strait. This is right. in the beginning we have seen Pak Strait, right? We have seen Gulf of Mannar also. So this is the thing. Sri Lanka is located just off this southern coast of India. So if I draw the southern coast of India, let's say like, this is the map of India. This is where we have Sri Lanka, and like if I use some maybe other color, so this is this water, it is known as Pak Strait. Right, this is Pak Strait. Over here we have what? Gulf of Mannar. So second statement, it says Sri Lanka is separated from mainland India by Gulf of Mannar. Means like from mainland India it is separated by Gulf of Mannar. Like that. Both these statements are correct. Pak Strait also separates and Gulf of Mannar also separates. Both these statements are correct. Correct answer is option C in this question. So having understood this, let us now see the solution. So this is the solution to this question. You can go through the details. What is Pak Strait? We have mentioned about it. What is Gulf of Mannar? We have mentioned about it. And also we have given the map of Sri Lanka. In case you want to know little more about it, for example, Adams Bridge, it is also in Hindi known as Ram Setu, right? Ram Setu. There was a movie also on this topic by Akshay Kumar, right? So this is the thing. This is Gulf of Mannar, and this is map of Sri Lanka. This is Pak Strait, okay? Pak Strait. This narrow channel of water that divides two land masses and connects two water bodies. It connects Gulf of Mannar with Bay of Bengal. So this is the thing. And Colombo, this is where Colombo is. This is the capital of Sri Lanka. Okay. So this is a good topic. I mean, like in your free time, you can go through the explanation to understand a little more. This is map of India. This is map of Sri Lanka. Okay. Different colors. So it will help you to understand. And also it is important that you frequently draw maps. That will help you to draw maps while writing an answer in the mains exam directly. Okay. So it's important that we develop that capacity, we develop this habit of drawing maps. So with this, we are going to talk about another topic. This topic is also important. This is important from the viewpoint of science and technology, and especially under science and technology, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. So recently what has happened, like Great Britain, okay, Great Britain or UK, we can say, the Prime Minister of Great Britain or Prime Minister of UK, Mr. Rishi Sunak, okay, has conducted a kind of conclave, right? Has conducted a kind of conclave, and this is known as Black Tele Declaration, okay, like BLECPCH, right? Yeah. So this is the declaration. It is known as Bletchley Declaration. Bletchley, I would say. Okay. So I mean, like we may pronounce it differently. This is the declaration. Basically, like in this declaration, they have talked about the impact of artificial intelligence. How artificial intelligence may impact the societies positively and negatively. And they have talked about regulation of artificial intelligence. Okay, they have talked about what? Regulation of artificial intelligence. Why regulation of artificial intelligence is important? Because artificial intelligence is an emerging field. It does have potential of benefiting the humanity in n number of ways, but it also carries the capacity of harming us in, let's say, like, huge different ways. So if we start regulating the AI, we will be able to, let's say, like, direct the AI development in a certain way so that we can mitigate the harmful effects of artificial intelligence and their development. So it is the right moment that different countries are coming up with regulation framework for artificial intelligence. So the thing is, this Bletchley Declaration related to this, the Prime Minister of UK, so he has conducted a conclave, he has interacted with various tech giants, and Elon Musk has also participated there. Elon Musk says that artificial intelligence does have the potential of taking away jobs from people. It does have potential of taking away huge number of jobs. So people will become jobless because of artificial intelligence. But he says like it is going to happen slowly and gradually with the development of artificial intelligence. And at the same time here they have discussed about digital super intelligence. What? They have discussed about digital super intelligence or artificial super intelligence. Okay. So we need to understand about this concept. What do we mean by digital super intelligence or artificial super intelligence? So when we talk about digital super intelligence, it's a stage of development of artificial intelligence where the digital system surpasses the capacity of human being. It has not yet been realized. So we are in the phase of development of narrow AI. Narrow AI means application based AI, means like there are artificial intelligence systems that are able to process the text. There are artificial intelligence that are able to process the voice. Others are able to process the videos. Others are able to process the, let's say, images and all. So it is a phase of development of narrow AI. But after some time when these data, different data types will be processed by the same artificial intelligence system, and it will be able to, let's say, like, process different forms of data and give a combined output that will be known as artificial general intelligence. So artificial general intelligence will be a peak phase of development of artificial intelligence, beyond which we can see the development of artificial super intelligence or super artificial intelligence. It is the phase when they are going to surpass the human capacity, right? So this is the thing. So in this article, they have discussed about it, and name of this declaration is important, like Bletchley Declaration. In your free time, go through the details of this declaration, go to the website, like, and search about it so that like you learn little more on this topic. So we do have a question related to artificial intelligence. It says consider the following. They have given three statements: reactive machines, limited memory, self-awareness. How many of them are type of artificial intelligence? How many of them are type of artificial intelligence? This is a type of artificial intelligence. This is also a type of artificial intelligence. This is also a type of artificial intelligence. So that is one way of seeing it. There are, let's say, like, further classification also of artificial intelligence. Okay. This is known as reactive machines. In reactive machines, they just don't have the memory, but the thing is the input that it gets, based on that input, let's say it takes decision. For example, there was a company which is IBM. It has created an artificial intelligence system that plays chess, right? So the thing is like, if there is a chess board, there are, let's say, like, different kind of things. If it knows that the position of a thing is over here, so it will not take into account the previous information related to what moves it has made. Based on the current move, it's going to, let's say, like, talk about the next move that it has to make. So it does not store the previous information. It just plays the chess from present till future. I mean, like, seeing the present situation, it talks about what should be the step. It does not look into that. So this is a kind of reactive machine. If we talk about limited memory artificial intelligence, its example would be the self-driving cars. What? Its example would be self-driving cars. So these self-driving cars have artificial intelligence system. What it does, like, while it is moving, right? While it is moving, what it does, it also stores the data of the traffic. It sees, like, like how many cars are above or besides it. It gathers the data of their speed as well. What is their speed, and accordingly it modulates its own speed. So this is a kind of example of what? Limited memory artificial intelligence. Apart from this, if we talk about this self-awareness, it is the stage of super intelligence, super AI, like AI super intelligence, the thing that we have discussed. Which one? No. ChatGPT is not self-awareness. Limited memory. ChatGPT may be limited memory. Means like whatever prompt you are giving, it stores the information also. Like you have, like, you get the previous record as well. Huh? It has data till 2021, but as a user, if we ask something, so it gives answers to that. Later on, maybe tomorrow we ask something else, so it will give answer to that also. Previous answers are also stored in this system, so they have limited memory capacity. And self-awareness is the artificial super intelligence, which is going to surpass the human capacity of reasoning and all, right? So all of the three are examples of artificial intelligence. So correct answer for this question is option C. You can go through the details about it, right? Reactive machines, limited memory, AI, self-awareness AI and all. Then we have another topic. It says retrograde step. This topic is important. We will understand about this topic in detail, right? Retrograde step. So what do we mean by retrograde step? So here this article is revolving around Information Technology Act, right? It revolves around this. It revolves around IT rules and IT amendment rules. Amendment rules. So let's understand about it. So we do have an IT Act of 2000, Information Technology Act of 2000. So according to the Information Technology Act of 2000, so they have, let's say at that point of time, the information technology was at its beginning phase in 2000, right? It was at its beginning phase. So the thing is, at that point of time, the government of India, right, all the records that it was, let's say, storing, it was in the physical format. So most of the records were in physical format and the transactions used to happen in physical format. But during 2000s, we have seen the boom of what? Boom of artificial intelligence, means like information technology. So there came various domains, for example, like, where e-commerce has initiated. So e-commerce means kind of transaction started happening through online means. I mean, like, people were able to do transaction, but like, to authenticate those transactions, to validate those transactions, there was no, let's say, like, digital signatures were not given the legality. So through the Information Technology Act, what they have done, they have brought a paradigm shift in the way how, let's say, digital signatures are treated. Okay, so they have given digital signatures the same authority as that of physical signatures, and at the same time digital documents, right, digital documents that have digital signatures will be given the similar authenticity as a physical document. That was the thing. And they have also created authorities like, digital signature, digital certificate authorities, DSCs, I think, digital certificate signature authorities. So they have created multiple authorities. These authorities would be able to give, provide digital signatures to the directors of companies and all. So this IT Act has various provisions. So one of the important provision is this thing. There are many provisions related to like how the forgery, other things would be treated and all. So this IT Act is still functional, okay? But Government of India is also thinking of replacing the IT Act, because now we have seen a shift in the, let's say, way how information technology is working now. So they are coming up with Digital India Act, okay? They are coming up with a new act. I think its name is Digital India Act, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so its name is Digital India Act of 2023. Okay, it is not yet passed. I think it is not yet passed. So it is, let's say, a kind of in bill format. But now what has happened? Now let us talk about IT amendment rules. IT amendment rules that the Government of India has already moved. Under the IT amendment rules, the Government of India has empowered a ministry which is known as Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. In short, it is known as MeitY. So MeitY was allowed to start a fact-checking unit. What? Fact checking unit. So this fact checking unit would be able to check the facts that are available online, right, related to, maybe it may associated with various news outlets and all, and this fact checking unit would be able to, let's say, flag right, it will be able to flag a news item or something as, let's say, like, fake or malicious, etc., right? So it may ask those entities to remove it from the internet, to remove it. So the thing is, like, which kind of details they will be checking? They will be checking the details that are related to the central government. So in this article, they have talked about that this, although they have already set up this fact checking unit, but the thing is, what about the criticism, fair criticism that people make related to the government of India? So fair criticism can also be labeled as fake, it can be labeled as disinformation, misinformation, and they may ask it to remove it. So the thing is this, I mean, like, fair criticism is something, I mean, like, which is at stake. I mean, in the Constitution of India, we have Article 19 of the Constitution of India. Article 19 of the Constitution of India gives us freedom of speech and expression, okay? Freedom of speech and expression is guaranteed, right? Freedom of speech and expression is guaranteed under the fundamental rights, right? It is guaranteed to the citizens under the fundamental rights. So we do have freedom of speech and expression. If this fact checking unit is used by the government in a way that they are using ED and CBI, what will happen? I mean, like, freedom of speech will be curtailed in India. And this will be, let's say, contrary to the provisions of the this Article 19 of the Constitution. So a case was being heard by Bombay High Court. Okay, a case was being heard by Bombay High Court. And this Bombay High Court has said that although this fact checking unit is working, you need to talk about how you are going to deal with the fair criticism of the government. And also, if it is found that it is working, right, against this particular thing, I mean, like, it is misusing the provisions under the fact checking unit, so this may be called as null and void. This may be means, like, the court may direct the government to, let's say, like, do away or abolish this particular fact checking unit in under the Ministry of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So this is the case that has been discussed in this article. Okay, so Bombay High Court was hearing this case. Yeah, Kunal Gambhir, he is also a kind of petitioner in this case along with many other parties. Okay, right. So political satirist, I think. So now we have another topic. It says services lost steam in October. So this article is related to how the service sector in India is performing, right? When we talk about Indian economy has manufacturing sector, it has services sector, it has, let's say, export and import sector. There are many things as part of the economy. Economy is a broad concept, and over here in this article they have discussed about a report that was released by Standards and Poor's. So Standards and Poor is an organization. It is based in United States of America, USA. So it is a body, private body. So like it's in Standard and Poor Global India Services, PMI. PMI means Purchasing Managers Index, right? So PMI, it shows that, like, services sector is not functioning well, right? It did not function well in the month of October 2023. Okay, so it talks about the October month only. So it says, like, October month performance in the services sector has gone down. So services grew at slowest rate since March as per Standards and Poor Global India Services PMI, which slide to 58.4 from September 61. Earlier it was 61. I mean, like, so they have some kind of categorization. So it has gone down. Growth slowed in the face of competitive pressures and inflationary forces. New businesses grew at the weakest pace since May. So future activity index fell by more than 5 points, signaling some loss of confidence surrounding the outlook. Okay. Simply it talks about one specific month's data. of the October month. Okay, so they have also analyzed from March to October. They have said from March to October also the performance of the services sector has gone down. This is the thing. They have also an index which is known as future activity index. Okay, future activity index. So it analyzes the present activity, the trend, and it says like, you know, how in future like it's going to perform, whether like, you know, the trend will be same or it will be reversed and all. So this is the thing. Now we have another topic. It is related to economy. Again, short topic. Finance Ministry unveils amnesty for GST demand order appeals. Now we need to understand this. We know Goods and Services Tax, Government of India has come up with Goods and Services Tax Act in 2017, right? So under this, the indirect taxes were clubbed. Okay, indirect taxes were clubbed together. Most of the indirect taxes were clubbed under the Goods and Services Tax. And Goods and Services Tax means like, you know, the businesses have to pay goods and GST to the government, and individual customers also who are purchasing things from the market. So along with the price of the good, we are also paying GST. I mean, like, you know, because like if we get a bill, so there they include GST as well. Consumers are paying, right? And then businesses are paying to the government, right? This is the way. So these are indirect taxes. So in indirect taxes, the thing is like, you know, they do have Central Board of Indirect Taxes, right? CBIC, I think. So Central Board of Indirect Taxes. So they do have, let's say, like, you know, under the under the taxation structure, what they do is like they keep on sharing, means like they check like how frequently people are filing their GST. If people are not filing the GST, so they may reach out to the businesses to note that, like, you know, this is is pending from your side. So they may, let's say, give demand order also that, you know, this is the amount that you have not paid so far, you need to pay. So the thing is, some of the businesses have failed to pay their part of the GST. So they have come up with an amnesty scheme. Amnesty means government is being little bit lenient towards them, that, like, you know, you need to they have unveiled an amnesty scheme for which like they have increased the time period, that by this time period you need to file your GST. That's the thing. So this scheme, which will be open till January 31, 2024, will be available for entities that were unable to submit their appeals against orders issued by the tax officer on our behalf March 31, 2023 to the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, CBIC, okay, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. So the CBIC issued notification with respect to this scheme on Thursday. So this is the thing. I mean, like, those people who are practicing GST and all, for them it is a good information. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.